Forever now destroyed. I try to find a purpose. with threads of choice and purpose in stories bravely told. Do we control the path we walk, or is it preordained? A cosmic script, a silent clock by forces unconstrained. The whispers in the winding wind, the patterns in the stars suggest a journey intertwined with ancient distant scars. A quiet pull, a guiding hand when logic starts to fade. A current pushing through the land where fates are gently made. We strive to grasp what lies ahead with maps we try to draw. Yet unforeseen events are spread, defying fields to city lights, a murmur starts to rise, a chorus of conviction reflected in our eyes. The silent streets now hum with steps, a rhythm bold and strong, as weary hearts remember where they truly belong. For too long, by unseen chains, by whispers of despair, we stood apart, alone and lost, breathing a stagnant air. But in the shadows, sparks ignite a flame of common ground, a realization dawning bright. Streets alive with 1,000 cries, faces painted with unbroken ties. Hand in hand through the ash we stride, together we stand with no divide. Hearts beat loud like a drum's refrain. We'll rise as one through the joy and pain. One pulse, one fight, we'll shake the earth. Bound by our will, we'll prove our worth. No chains can hold the fiery air. One pulse, one soul, we'll rise in the air. Walls they built to keep us apart crumble by the strength of our heart. Voices join like a tidal wave. United we march the bold